Hello. Okay. So I want to make this a part, a part two to humanity gets what it gets. They deserve what they get. But this time I want to talk about separation. When I talk about separation, I'm not talking about separation in the sense of you are separating from toxic people. That's a difference. You separating from toxic people who want to hold you down, people who don't want to see you do well. That's a different type of separation, okay? I'm not talking about that kind of separation. I'm talking about separation based on discriminating against a certain group of people, and discriminating on people who haven't done anything to you, or a person who hasn't done anything to you, because in the first one I talked about how these metaphysicians, these people who were so masterful in their craft, they weren't able to stop what's going on, okay? And it's because it's already here. And so you have to kind of foresee these things happening, and then you have to do something to keep it from coming. But once things like this, once it gets here, those energies are too strong to try to break up. I'm going to tell you why it's not going to work. This is why I say, and I'm going to get to the point of this when I talk about separation, but I want to say real quick, that's why I say get in your own timeline. Get in your own timeline. And you might want to get away from areas, where they are most likely to be targeted. And by that I mean black neighborhoods, because I just saw this little 2-minute clip of where the LAPD, a whole lot of them, had to come out there and break up a party. Somebody was threw a party outside for a 1-year-old. It was like 40 plus people, I think, at this party for a 1-year-old. I shouldn't have been outside partying for no year-olds, but that 1-year-old is not going to remember all of that for you to be putting yourself through all of that, to go through all that trouble, to put yourself in danger like that for a 1-year-old's birthday party, 40 plus people that's not even going to remember that they had it, okay? And so, it's a video clip of the LAPD out there, and it was like, it was over 20 officers strong. Over 20 officers strong. Do you know how bad that? But that's because it was over 40 people out there at that party. You know how dangerous, certain folks can be. And they almost had to, wrestle some of these people. These people didn't know that they did anything wrong. So what I'm saying is that definitely, when something else comes around, I'm already seeing that the black neighborhoods they're gonna be the first to go down. They're going to be the first to go down. So I'm going to say why I say this. In choosing your timeline, choosing your parallel world, I say timeline, I just mean another parallel world. Every time you change something about yourself, especially when you're changing yourself for the better, you're working on something to better yourself, you just move into a different version of yourself. That means you move into a different timeline. So when I say timeline, I don't mean to be all fancy like some of these other folks that's on YouTube. It's really not that hard. We have been changing our whole lives, okay? We have been moving into parallel worlds our whole lives. We just don't know it because it was so smoothly done that we didn't know we were moving into parallel worlds our whole lives, okay? But you have been doing it already. But at this time, you're going to be more intentional with it. That's all I mean. This time, instead of just moving through and you not knowing that you're really moving through parallel worlds, this time you're going to be more intentional. Do things to work on yourself. If you might have some emotional trauma, you might have emotional pain, you might be weak in this area. Use this time wisely to work on yourself, and as you start to improve and see improvements in yourself, you're automatically going to move through parallel worlds because you're moving into wiser versions of yourself, okay? Because I told you this is a holographic system. It's a holographic system. So that's why I say you're moving into different versions of yourself, because it's really kind of like you're almost like in a virtual reality, but it seems so real when you look out of your own naked eyes. It seems so real, but you're really in a matrix. You're really in a virtual reality. That's why I talk about parallel worlds. Now you kind of go to different planets. They don't have such a thing as parallel worlds because they don't have a holographic system, okay? So other planets they don't have those parallel worlds like that. So, but that's what I mean about timelines and parallel worlds. It's not fancy. You're just working on perfecting yourself, working on bettering yourself, working on your ego, The ego is the main problem, you know, but you know, we can't help it. The ego protected us our whole life, but now we're at a time where we're going into a different paradigm. New energies are coming in, and we cannot operate on that the way the ego used to operate. To protect us, we cannot operate like that anymore, and we're going to have to get out of duality, okay? And that's going to occur once the more and more you dissolve your ego, okay? Because we're moving into a new paradigm. Anyway, okay, so finished with that, I want to talk about what this is really about, the humanity, and how it gets what it gets. Okay, so discrimination against a certain type of person is not going to work either, because that's separation. Now, I know in the past, you know, we grew up in a system where the Asians stuck together, and it helped, and it made their communities really strong. White people stick together, it made their community really strong, and you have all these other groups of people that stuck together, and it made their nations very strong, right? But that's what's happening now. It's going to be a huge war, and it's going to be a war of the patriarchs. It's going to be a big war, right? But I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of men are going to be taken off the planet, because the biggest reason for ego is men. A lot of men are going to just be removed, okay? But so there's going to be a big war. When I saw what happened, this COVID-19, this coronavirus, began in Wuhan, China. Okay, I made an audio on my last channel called Divine Beingness, but I kind of privated it, because sometimes when I make certain audios, I don't mean for it to stay up for too long. I just mean for it to only stay up for a certain amount of time, and I close it down, because I don't want everybody hearing it, you know. But I was talking about China taking over, and I was specifically talking about how China has already signed a deal with the U.S., and they have the United States have really been China since either 1980 something or the early 1990s. The United States has really been China. The United States has really been China. Okay, and there was talks about how the Wuhan was taken over, and you see where this thing started in Wuhan. So this right here, I already figured out a lot of it has to do with the battle of patriarchy. Okay, to have an epidemic like this start in a particular area is making the masses discriminate against them and look down on them. Okay, these folks, they might have shook hands and make all these deals, but everybody's in a fight for power, and these are men. This is where this ego, the only way this ego is going to be taken down are men. A lot of men will not be around. They just won't. Okay? So anyway, but still protect yourself in this pandemic. Still protect yourself, though. But I know what this is about. Okay? Another thing I want to talk about is, I'm just going to use an example of a lot of racism that still exists. Okay? And I ain't no pro-black person. I'm talking about how a lot of other nations, Filipino, just Asians, regardless of whether they are Korean or whatever they are, Filipino or whatever, how they like to discriminate, how they like to just talk down on you when you're trying to be nice to them. They still talking down to you. What they did in the past is not going to help now. See, I get these things during meditations, and right now all of that separation is not going to help them survive what's coming. And I'm not talking about what's happening right now. What's happening right now, I feel like it's just a drill for a preparation of something much, much worse to come. And that's why I say use this time wisely. Use this time wisely. You know, to really strengthen your inner to really work on your inner strength, because it's going to take a lot of inner strength and a lot less ego to protect yourself. Okay, you can use all the vitamin C and vitamin D in the world. I think that's good too, but you better strengthen your inner self, and use this time. If you don't have to work and you are financially stable and you don't have to be at work for a couple of more weeks, you are so lucky to me. I wish I did not have to be at work for 2 weeks. Please, my ego would be completely gone, because it takes work to dissolve your ego, because your ego has been there since the day you were born. It's what has protected you in this particular system that's about to go away. Your ego is what has protected you, but that system is about to. It's a war happening right now because it's a war for domination. But the patriarchs are going to fight. They're going to kill each other. But the old system of matriarchy is coming in. I was listening to another young lady talk last night on her live, and she was talking about how Parthenogenesis, that's when women gave birth without the help of sperm. She says it's already happening now. And I don't know what particular color they were, because you don't just have to be a brown woman to give birth without the help of sperm, okay? But Parthenogenesis is already happening because the vibrations, the frequencies are changing, okay? Because we're moving out of a stoic patriarchal system into more of a cohesive matriarchal system. I hope they let me through. Okay. Into more of a cohesive, oh shoot, okay, I see what's happening here. To more of a cohesive matriarchal system. And so a lot of women are able to give birth without the help of sperm. So that's why I'm saying a lot of men, they're no longer needed, especially because they're the ones that they're the ones who are, who created this system, and this system was built around ego. This has been an ego-driven system, okay? This has been an ego-driven system, okay? And that's breaking down. And that's why I kept saying, work on breaking down your ego. Slowly but surely. Don't try to get rid of your ego all in one day, because I'm going to tell you something from my experience, your ego will come back and try to fight you. If you have never tried to work on breaking down your ego, and you could have broken down your ego and not know that you have. If you've been working on yourself, working on perfecting yourself, you automatically breaking down your ego right there. But, be careful of trying to do everything at once, because your ego will come back and attack you. It's not a game. When I say ego, I'm not talking about somebody who has a bad attitude. I'm really talking about it's been with you since birth, because it's protected you. It was necessary to protect you in that system. Okay? But now, going into another system, that ego is going to hurt you, okay? And oh my goodness, let me get back into this separation stuff. So I'm gonna use an example of what happened today. It's 12 minutes. You see, guys, how I do 12 minutes. So I saw an example today. I'm just going to use an example today, right? So there's quite a few nurses that are like Asian, whether they Filipino, whether they Vietnamese, no matter what they are, quite a few Asian nurses, but you see that all over because they're dominating the healthcare industry, okay? They're dominating the healthcare industry. But this is what I got to say. So there was one black lady that was working with a patient. And I said, does this person look strange to you? I mean, I said, I know they have their problems. I know they have their cognitive issues, cognitive impairments, but something ain't right. Something's not right. I said, do you think I should, you think we should report this? Something, or is this how you're used to seeing them? Because something, to me, something looks off. She said, you can go in and tell her, but she said that she tried to report to the nurse that's assigned to that particular side. She tried to tell a nurse about somebody else earlier who had a swollen arm and a swollen foot, and she tried to report this to the nurse earlier. And then the nurse didn't do nothing. She went back to that patient that complained about the swollen hand and stuff, and asked that patient, did the nurse ever go to check up on him? And the patient said no. And so she said so she didn't want to go back to that particular nurse. Now the nurse was an Asian lady. And the woman I spoke to was a black lady, okay? She was a CNA. Now, I know people like to accuse black women of only being CNAs, but to be honest with you, it's more Hispanic CNAs over there, Latina CNAs, and a couple of white ones more than there are black ones. I've just seen maybe 1 or 2 black CNAs, okay? But I just want to get that out the way because I know people want to keep criticizing black women for these type of jobs. But... so anyway, she said that it's almost like the nurse didn't want to really listen, And so I said, okay then. And so I saw another girl. She's Asian too, but she was younger. and she's used to me by now. So she does wound care, okay, WOUND, wound care. And so I stopped her. I said, "Are you in a rush? Do you have somewhere to go?" She said, "No." I said, "Can you look at him? Does he look strange? Are you used to working with him?" And so I said, "I think we should tell the nurse." And so she went and told the nurse. And so I talked to the black lady was still there, and she said, "Now that nurse might come back here. Now that you told her, and now that she's going to say something, the nurse might come back there." And she did. And I said, I knew exactly what she was talking about. So let me tell you why I said that. I said that to say this. And I'm going to get into the title of part 2 of why humanity gets what it gets. Because that is no longer going to work anymore. These people that have these attitudes where they're disrespectful because of somebody else's color, because they think they are above somebody, even if it's a woman who say something that makes sense, but you don't want to pay attention to her because you feel like she isn't worthy of your attention. Which sometimes a lot of Asians and just a lot of, I would say more Asians. I work with a lot of white people, and I'm going to be honest with you in healthcare. I work with a lot of white people. Yes, a lot of them are racist. I know now. I'm not trying to get into the pro-black mess, but I'm not going to act like I don't see things either. But a lot of these Asians, I don't care for them. Okay, I think they're good with business, but I'm just saying the way they kind of brush off people, especially people that they think are beneath them, they to me they are worse than whites. Okay, and it's not going to work this time. That type of mentality that they have is not going to save their lives. They're going to die off if they don't get that mess together. Excuse me if I'm a little passionate. They're not going to make it. They're not going to make it because that system of, okay, the Asians stick together, the whoever stick together, the whites stick together, the Latinos stick together, the Hispanics stick together, whatever, that culture. It's not going to work this time because we're moving into a new system. And if you have this mind of separation, then you won't make it. Okay, and like I said, I think I said this earlier. When I talk about separation, I'm not talking about separating from a person who is toxic, right? Like me saying I don't want to be in the black communities. I don't want to be in the black communities because I know how they are. Just like how they threw that party for that 1-year-old girl, okay? And then when the police was there, they really felt like somebody did them wrong, like it was no kind of pandemic going around. And whether they want to feel like it's something real, whether it's something orchestrated, does not matter. They're being rebellious, okay? It doesn't matter what you feel is real, what you feel is fake. It doesn't matter. They know that there is a social distancing, there's social distancing, right? And they wanted to break the law. As usual, they want to break the law. But I'm not going to criticize that because none of us are perfect. But I'm just saying that was just out there, and they're just out there having this big old party like ain't nothing, like nobody's going to say anything. And that's why I say get out the black community for stuff like that. But I don't mean that the way, that's not the type of separation that I'm describing now, okay? That is something that's necessary to save your own life because these people are dangerous, okay? But and plus they hurt children, especially little girls. There's too much crime and they hurt children, and you see how especially they have a hatred for brown girls and brown women. It's just brown women who are trying to better themselves, especially. It's just it gets to the point where it's not about separation, it's about saving your own life, okay? So I just want to make that clear. But these other groups, these other folks with practicing all this thinking that they above people and they can treat people in the kind of way, talk to you in the kind of way because they feel like you're beneath them because of whatever race they perceive you to be, because that's nothing but a part of their old system too, race. Okay? All that's about to come to an end, and if those people don't dissolve that part of themselves, they are going to be destroyed right along with this system. When I was kind of doing my medium mentorship, right? I saw one of the spirits that was helping me with some of my readings was a guy from, where did he come from? He had long hair. I forgot what kind of times he come from. Ooh, what are those times? Oh, I hate that. I forgot. But anyway, it's like from over 1,000 years ago, okay? But he come from one of those times. He had long black hair, and he's kind of like represented by the color yellow, okay? And he kind of said to me, be careful. I know you care about black girls, black women, or whoever, but try to not just limit everything to them, because that's separation too. Now, the reason I care so much about black girls and stuff, especially because they were defenseless, because so much was happening to black girls and nobody else seemed to care. Nobody was going to do anything about it. And so that's why my focus was on black girls. But it was never because I wanted to dominate anything. I never wanted to be, this stuff about being at the top. That's not going to matter right now, okay? We can't concentrate on being at the top, because that old system is leaving, about who's at the top and who's at the bottom. Nobody's going to be at the top in this new system. Nobody's going to be at the bottom. People will be equal. There shall be no separation. And if you have that type of mentality, you're going to be destroyed. You're going to be destroyed. Okay? So the only reason the main reason I cared about little black girls and stuff, because it was so unfair how they were being abused and killed, and they were being their murders were being underreported. And I saw that the law was not going to intervene for these girls. Okay, I saw that nothing was going to happen. Okay, but never because I wanted them to be above everybody else. Okay, never because I thought that they were more important than anybody else. Okay, because that's dangerous. That's what these other nations are doing, and that's what's going to destroy these other nations. Once this system is completely gone, the people with that mindset, that their nation, say just a group of, how we talked, like I said earlier, about how Asians stick together, that's no longer going to work for them. If they're practicing racism against another group of people, especially if they haven't done anything to you, I can see if they've done something to you, but you just going to kind of brush somebody off that's trying to tell you something. You're going to brush them off. When another Asian girl come and tell you something, you're going to listen to her. Then that kind of person that does that, I don't care how strong her nation is, she's going to be destroyed. She's not going to live. She's going to die along with everybody else that's going to be caught in this mess, because she's still got that mentality in her of separation. Okay? Because the new paradigm that's coming in is going to end time. That's why it's been all this scare stuff about the end of time, the end of days. People do know that the time construct also came along with this system. The time construct. Time is an illusion. The time construct came along with the particular system, okay? The days came along with the particular system in the way they want to worship certain planets, okay? That's with a certain system too. The new system, the new paradigm that's coming in, it's not going to operate like that. That is why it's the end of days. I might do a separate audio called End of Days, but I'm going to go do a more extensive audio the more I get information, from my inner self, because I don't just say things. I don't watch other people's pages and just say something. So when I talk about inner separation, it's because I saw something during the meditation, and I wanted to get out of time because I hated time. And it came to me as plain as day. You need to end separation. You end separation, you end time. And when in my doggone meditation, when I said, okay, I'm going to end separation, just the separation that's in my mind, the way I feel, the separation, the part of me that holds on to separation, right? Something happened with time. It's almost like time stopped. It's almost like time stopped. And I saw these two big heads try to look in. It's like, okay, when I meditate and go to different dimensions, it's completely dark, okay? It's completely like pitch black. It's dark, okay? And I saw these big, huge heads. One was on one side, one was on the other side, and it's like they were sitting behind some kind of wall, right? And when I say in separation, those heads, they peeped in to see what happened, because it's almost like time stopped. Okay? So that's what I mean by this. When I talk about inner separation, I'm not just saying nothing from watching somebody else's channel. And these folks that were powerful once before, like these Asians, like these Europeans, because everybody wants to hold on to their own power, right? That's why it was a good thing that the brown people have been kind of beaten down and put at the bottom like they have been, because it's nothing for us. It's nothing for us, the brown people. It's nothing to hold on to because it's nothing there. That's been ruined a long time ago. So there's no reason for the brown people to hold on to separation, because there was never a strong nation. It wasn't a strong nation among brown people, but it was a strong nation among Latinas. It was a strong nation among Asians. It was a strong nation amongst Europeans. But they're not going to make it. They're going to be cleared out because that paradigm is leaving. Okay, that paradigm is leaving. And if they don't let go of that separation that exists in them, because it's the people that holds on to separation. Once the people decide not to hold on to separation, then separation to end. But this new paradigm is going to come in whether people like it or not, because it's just their time. And the people like that who once had strong nations and want to hold on to this separation and this mentality in them, they're not going to survive what's coming for them. It's going to be a lot of people it's probably going to be in the billions of people that's going to die, because there's so many nations that hold on to separation, because they're going to be holding on to the old system of power, of conquering, of, the way the system used to be. It's not completely their fault. A lot of them don't know any other system, okay? But at the same time, they're going to have to learn to get out of it. And if they don't, in the next few years, it will probably be billions of people that's going to be gone, okay? I don't think I have anything else to say. I don't know, child. But anyway, yeah, so I don't know when the next time I'm going to come online, because I was going for a while. I do that. I'm very careful with how I use my energy these days, because we're in a very crucial time, and I don't want to spend my energy talking about something that's not going to have a resolve, okay? Whatever's going on with the brown woman, a brown girl, or whatever else is going on in the world, and there's no resolve, it's nothing for me to do. It's nothing I can do about it. I'm not going to put my energy on that. I'm not going to put my energy on something I cannot do anything about. So I'm very careful how I spend my energy, okay? And I might go quiet because I have to get back to working on myself too, okay? Because I'm going to be honest with you, the more you have to go to work every day, it's harder to really dissolve the ego like you want it to, because you're going into work every day. And this is why I say, you guys that don't have to go to work, even if you only have a couple of weeks, it's still time off, especially when you're sitting comfortably and you just have a mild inconvenience of, maybe not able to get a paper towel or something, mild inconveniences, okay? But for the most part, you're not going to work and you're sitting home comfortably, and you don't have a bunch of kids running around the house or a bunch of family members. This is the time to be using wisely, okay? Because this is the best time to work on aligning with your divine self. Because once you get back to work, it's going to be hard. You're getting back to work around a bunch of other people with different personalities, different types of consciousness. It's going to be harder to put in that work, because you got to now, as soon as you get back off of work, you got to get back into meditation again, and getting all that stuff that was on you for those 8-9 hours or whatever you worked. Now you got to go and you got to brush that off, okay? So and even if you can work from home, that'd be great too. But really, I'm gonna be honest with you, just dealing with people is just difficult, because some people work from home and say on YouTube. You still dealing with people though. If I'm working from home, and I'd have YouTube and make a lot of YouTube checks, but I'm doing lives every day while I'm interacting with people, you still dealing with people. You're still dealing with energies. You're still dealing with different personalities. If you work from home and you might work for a travel agency, you still got to call people on the phone. You still got to deal with people. Okay? See, the problem is people. I'm not trying to hate people, But the problem is people. You know, you have to deal with too many people that mess you up. Okay? But anyway, that'll be it, and I will talk to you later.